Good afternoon. My name is Frankie Olivo. Welcome to Sports Talk. It's April the 25th. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. A little bit different. Usually we come on every Sunday at 12. I think we're gonna mix it up a little bit. Um, from now on, the Sports Talk podcast will be appearing every Sunday at 5 p.m. During the day, I know a bunch of people are either out at church, hanging out with family, going out to eat, shopping. I think around this time is when everybody starts settling down at home, watching sports. So I think the change in hour will be beneficial to us to have as many people on as possible to give as much exposure to our local talent here in the city of Brownsville in the Rio Grande Valley, and just more than anything, talk about sports. So we are on a little bit later on today. From now on, we will be coming on at 5 p.m. I also want to do a special edition sports talk for this Thursday for the NFL draft. Um, if anybody's interested, talking sports, talking NFL, talking about the draft, any predictions, uh, reach out to me. Myself and Dario will be on. But the more brains, the more manpower we can get to discuss sports, talk about our favorite teams, different scenarios. I think it would be pretty cool. So this Thursday will be a special edition, sports talk of the NFL draft at 7 p.m. So we'll be doing the first 10 picks. I think after that it's a little bit too much, but that's what we're focusing on. I've been going back and forth, reading, preparing myself for this Thursday. So I hope it's a lot of fun for everyone out there. Happy birthday, Tony Romo, Cowboys Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo. Happy birthday! Thanks for tuning in, Emilio Barrera. Happy birthday, Tony Romo. Um, so glad to be on this late in the evening. I think it's pretty cool to come on and be with y'all. I hope this is something that we do maybe more frequently, possibly on a Saturday or Sunday or maybe midweek. There's so much that goes on to there's so much that goes on in the world of sports here locally in the Rio Grande Valley. I think Sunday one day doesn't do it justice. So I am trying to expand with the NFL draft, with games, broadcasting games. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I love sports. It teaches us a lot about life, about responsibility, teamwork, perseverance, hard work, and again, more than anything, to recognize our local talent here in Brownsville, here in the Rio Grande Valley. We'll start off with football. This past few weeks, we had two, if I'm not mistaken, two student athletes that have signed. Here we have Mark Garcia, who signed his letter of intent to play at Southwestern University in Georgetown. This past week, he was presented in front of administration, his family, friends, to receive, to declare himself as a student athlete to play in Southwestern. I think it's a great accomplishment, a great achievement. I know the Pace Vikings are ecstatic for Mr. Garcia's progress, for his great accomplishment, but more than anything, he's going to school. That's very, very, very important. Also, from the Homer Hanna High, we have Escobar, a great defensive back who was a great leader for his team. Senior Diego Escobar made a long time dream of his, and it came true on Wednesday. He also signed for Southwestern University along with Mark Garcia. He will be playing in Georgetown. Escobar was a two-way standout for the Golden Eagles throughout his career. He earned All District 32-6A honors as a free safety last year as a junior, and he was named Co-District MVP after returning to the quarterback position as a senior. He will play defensive back at Southwestern at the NCAA Division III level. So we wish both Mark Garcia and Diego Escobar much success. It's impressive whenever we have student athletes get scholarships, but it's pretty rare for our area to have student athletes receiving scholarships to play football. This is a great accomplishment. I wish Mr. Garcia and Escobar much success. Hopefully, with this will catapult them to that next level. If this is something that they love doing, maybe they could play it at the next level at a minor league team. Reach out, make connections, make networking. I think it's very important to go out of our city, learn from other cultures, get a free education, do what you love, and because at the end of the day, it's just a kids game. Football is just a kids game that these individuals they get a scholarship to play for. We wish them nothing but the best. Hopefully, we'll be having them on soon on the show. I think it's a great deal for us to have them on just to see what motivates them, what's their mind process moving forward, and how do they see themselves in 4 or 5 years after graduation. So again, much success to these individuals. Wish them nothing but the best. Hopefully, we hear great things from them academically and on the field, of course. The Lopez Lobos, they beat Donna 5-0, and they're headed to the postseason. Jesus Villafranca pitched a no-hitter shutout this past week. We will be monitoring the Lopez Lobos as they enter the playoffs. Hopefully, we'll be updated on their next games. I hope Real Sports Live broadcast it. This being a playoff game, more than likely it will. If they do broadcast it, I'll go ahead and do a play-by-play commentary once that goes through. So again, congratulations to the Lopez Lobos on reaching the postseason. They've always had great pitchers, great command. Villafranca is testament to that. He threw a no-hitter this past week. We wish them much success. Again, I will be broadcasting the game whenever it is on. Do some play-by-play, and hopefully our Lopez Lobos secures the victory this in their next game. Also, a very special individual. A shout out goes to Jerry Martinez, the captain for the Los Fresnos Falcons basketball team. Mr. Martinez was named the All Metro Boys Basketball MVP. A great accomplishment. Jerry is a sophomore. He has started varsity as a freshman. He was named co-MVP last year. All Metro this year. The accolades just keep on stacking up for Mr. Martinez. He recently played at the South Padre Island Invitational. It's an all-star game from the Rio Grande Valley. Being selected to the All Metro Boys basketball team, he got to play at Bird Ogden Arena yesterday. Both boys and girls played at the East versus West Vipers Invitation at the Bird Ogden Arena. The best of the best showed up and played. And again, Jerry Martinez, it was funny because he was getting double teamed. He was getting double teamed at an all-star game. And who does that? How much attention is given to one player during an all-star game? I get during the season, the coach calculates and says, hey, we're going to do everything possible to try and avoid one player beating us. And I understand the reasons why, they double team, but on an all-star game, you're double teaming the best player on the court. That says a lot about Jerry Martinez, about the Los Fresnos Falcons on their program. And here we have Jerry Martinez with his family, his mom and dad, his brothers and sisters after the game. Again, only a sophomore. The accolades keep on piling up. We expect great things from Mr. Jerry Martinez. He does have big goals and big expectations. But this goes to show, guys, that if you do put in the hard work, it'll eventually pay itself off. Hard work does pay off. And again, that's the reason why I really like sports, because it teaches us a lot about life. Different. You have to work on your fundamentals, the basics. Same thing about life. How's it going, Danny? Thanks for tuning in. Happy Sunday. That's what I love about sports. And if you put in the time, if you sacrifice, if you're always in the gym, if you're that gym rat, it's going to show on the court. It's going to show on the field, and that's something that we want to instill in each and every one of our youth. Nowadays, we all love the games online, but we do have to focus on our physical health. And a great way for us to do that is to be in extracurricular activities at school. It could be, a different organization outside of school, Boy Scouts, with church, things like that. So again, hard work does pay off, and we have here the testament of this sophomore who was co-MVP last year, MVP this year, All Metro this year, and he's just getting started. He's just getting started. Did you ever play sports? Tell us about your accolades. I did play sports. I was an okay player. I was a mediocre player. I have no accolades to to brag about, Cabrera. I think I'm better behind the mic than on the field. Thanks for tuning in, man. So again, congratulations goes out to Jerry Martinez, Los Fresnos Falcons, and the Martinez family. Very, very proud of him, of them, of their hard work, because it's a sacrifice also for the family. I have been with my brother to chess, and the chess parents are dedicated. They're vicious. They're there long hours, supporting their children, their brothers and sisters. That's awesome thing to do. Basketball, it's great whenever you see a family that's involved with their with their son, with their relative, with their family member who supporting them. And Jerry Martinez, he travels to Dallas, he travels to Beaumont, he goes to Las Vegas, Florida, New Orleans. This guy is a gym rat. He's always playing basketball. He always has a ball in his hand, but he's always improving. He's always competing at the highest level. And I hate to say this, but whenever he comes down and competes in district league, it's kind of papitas for him. But again, that just goes to show that not only the player sacrifices a lot, but the family as well. They spend a lot of money traveling, but then again, they're doing this. They're doing this as a family, and that's something that I really admire and like about the Martinez family. Well, not only Jerry, but they also have another superstar in the making, so to speak. Jerry has 2 years of eligibility coming up, but his sister Galilea Martinez is somebody that we should watch out for. She is a young up and coming player. She is aggressive, and she can hoop. It's pretty cool whenever we have somebody in the family that it's not only one but somebody else. So Jerry, you have competition coming up with Gali. So the Martinez family have a lot to look forward to. Not only do they have Jerry Martinez, who's got 2 more years of eligibility of high school. We're also waiting for Galilea to show what she has. And not only that, this past week, the BBA girls basketball team, they won a tournament, the San Benito Select girls basketball tournament. They won the championship. So congratulations to Coach Robert Moreno, to Gali Martinez and her teammates on winning the championship this past week. Did you go to New Orleans also? Yes, I went to New Orleans, but that was not for sports. That was not for sports. That was that's to talk about later. So again, congratulations to the Martinez family. Congratulations to Galilea, BBA girls basketball team on winning the hardware. Great experience for these young ladies. Hopefully, they stick together, grow that chemistry, and keep on dominating the way they have, in this past championship. Um, Basketball. A lot has been going on in basketball. We recently had AD come back from. Oh, this is good. Well, you can kind of see it. Come back from injury, and we see how the Phoenix Suns have managed to be in contention for the number one spot in the West. We also have how the Denver Nuggets. We saw how Jamal Murray uh, tore his ACL and he's out, and we have their center, the Joker, who is carrying the team so far. The Clippers have been very dominant this past 12 games. I think they're 11-1, 11-1 or 10-2 if I'm not mistaken. Paul George has been carrying this team as of late. Kawhi Leonard has been in and out of the lineup. We have seen how injuries have plagued many players. Dario spoke about this last week, how this shortened season has had a lot of stress on these professional athletes' bodies. And we know that we've heard about how LeBron James, he spends over $1 million on his body, on recuperating. Um, he has trainers galore who are constantly making sure that everything is well. But at the end of the day, this is a grind. 82 game season after the COVID season was cut short, and it extended to as late as it was. So it's we are starting to see how these professional athletes, their bodies can't take it, and we've seen the injuries. Like I said, AD did come back. He was on restricted minutes against the Dallas Mavericks. I think he did an okay job. The Mavericks did end up winning the game. But we have seen how the LA Lakers have fallen from 3 to 4. Now they're falling to 5. And look at Dallas right now. Dallas is a game away. We have Portland and Memphis, who are two, three games away from fifth place. Now LeBron James is set to come back soon. We are starting to get into that grind, into that third half of the season, where every game counts moving forward. So I do anticipate the Lakers to hold on to the 4th, 5th spot. I don't see Portland or Memphis having a late run. I like Portland as of late. I do like that trade that they made with the Toronto Raptors. I think they did add a great quality player to their team. I do like Damian Lillard. I do like McCollum. But I don't see them doing much more. Carmelo could only do so much. But we'll see. Again, the Lakers are falling fast, and with LeBron and AD coming back from injury, they are on restricted minutes. So it is going to take some time for them to get back into the groove. And the coaches obviously are doing a good job of monitoring them, making sure that they don't put them in too soon. My favorite word, too soon. Got sidetracked. So that's how the West is looking, and the Suns have been playing pretty good. They're in second place and in 2 games within Utah, who's number 1. The Nets are playing or did play the Suns just right now, and I think that the game. Let me double check. The game just finished, and we did see the Nets come out on top. KD looks good. We also have James Harden, who's nursing a sore hammy. So we do have injuries coming up in the league. But the West, Utah looks good. Phoenix has been playing amazing. Chris Paul, wherever he goes, is dominant. We saw how the Houston Rockets have been. We've seen how the Houston Rockets, when they traded him, went to the Western Conference Finals 2, 3, 4 consecutive years. Unfortunately, they couldn't get over that hump of the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry, they had a 3-1 lead in the finals, and everybody thought, oh, here it is. The Rockets are going to the finals. We had Chris Paul get hurt, and we just saw the Rockets let it slip away. But everywhere Chris Paul has gone, his team has had success. From Houston, he got traded to the Thunder, and the Thunder, for having a young team, they did pretty good. I think they went into the playoffs last year, if I'm not mistaken. They got swept. But my point is, Chris Paul is the best at what he does, and that's facilitating the ball. He's a great scorer. Even though he's 35, 36 years of age, he's still able to be successful in different offenses that he's been in. Watch how you talk about my Rockets. Hey man, they're bound to get the first, second pick. Wall is not the answer, obviously. I also want to do an NBA draft. That's farther down the line, of course. But I've already been looking at mock NBA drafts, and we do anticipate the Rockets, obviously because of the year that they've been having, to have a lottery pick. Obviously, will they get that number 1 pick? Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. There's a lot of talent coming up. We have Cunningham. We have some players in the G League that chose to forego college and go professionally to pay to get paid playing. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the Rockets are need help. I spend like $100 on my body every weekend and puras chelas. That's not good, sir. Jim, mal America dead. I root for Cruz Azul. So I'm not a big fan of Los Americanistas. I have several friends that are diehard Americanistas, but I'm not. What do you think about LeBron's recent tweet? Good question, Barrera. I don't like LeBron, and this is going to come out bad. Jerry Martinez, I know you are a diehard LeBron fan. LeBron is a businessman, as we all know. He has grown an empire on shoe deals, marketing, businesses. His portfolio is very diverse. We recently saw how the shootings, Emilio's talking about LeBron James's recent tweet that talked about, I'm being tired of African Americans being shot, of being treated unfairly. And it was kind of like a jab at the cops, saying that, you know what, we're not holding them accountable, and that he's tired of seeing black people get killed by the police. And the reason why he took down a tweet poking jabs at the police was because he was saying that it's bigger than this. That this was part of a system that is at fault. But again, we have to recognize, Barrera, that LeBron James is the same individual who has spoken about many social injustices that have occurred throughout these past few years with African Americans being killed by the police. He's been very vocal about these things. Back in the day, do you remember when Charles Barkley said, "Hey, I'm not a role model. I'm a basketball player. Don't come to me and say, oh, you need to do this for the kids. You're the role." No, the parents are the kids. That's the mentality that these athletes had in the 90s, early 2000s. They said, "Hey, I'm a basketball player. Don't look at me for and hold me to a certain standard. Say, hey, he's a role model. What does he have to say? No. I'm a basketball player." Well, LeBron has taken it to another level because, again, everything that he says and does is all calculated, obviously, because of finances, because of his business. Now, he is a global superstar who has manufacturing plants in China, in countries that have been known to not have as strict workers' rights, human rights, child labor laws, and many have criticized LeBron James, Barrera, and said, "Hey, why don't you talk about the Chinese government? You know, your shoes. You pay a child $1 a day, so somebody could go to the store and pay for your shoes for $250, $300. I don't like LeBron picking and choosing on what benefits him. I personally didn't like the tweet. I have many friends and family who are police officers, who are law enforcement. I've worked with many great individuals during my time with Cameron County. I'm very fond and respect authority. So whenever somebody says, I understand the frustration about it. I understand the frustration that LeBron has with this nonstop, if I may use that word, that phrase, nonstop attack of African Americans. I do agree. We do need to bring more awareness, but to attack the police officers and say, "Hey, all of you are bad. All of you are at fault." I think that's wrong. We do have some excellent, honorable law enforcement officials who try their best to do the right thing. Being a police officer, being a law enforcement is very, very tough. Those guys go in and day out, not knowing what's going to happen. We've had several officers here from McAllen, from the Rio Grande Valley, be killed in the line of duty. So for LeBron James to take his frustration out on the police, and then delete the tweet, don't delete it. Be a man. Hey, Gabby, thanks for tuning in. I just talked about Jerry, about his game, and I talked about Gali on the BBA Girls Championship in San Benito. So if you have a chance, look at the show. I think it's minute 5 or so, where Jerry and Gali come out on their recent accomplishments. Jerry at Bert Ogden and Gali dominating the paint, as always, in the San Benito Invitation. Thank you for tuning in. Hope to see you soon. Anytime. Love you guys. So that's what I think about it. I don't like that LeBron James picks and chooses his. But again, everything is tactical. Everything. Terrence Clark, 19. Yes, the basketball world did lose a NBA prospect. Terrence Clark, 19, from the Boston area. He was killed in the Los Angeles area, if I'm not mistaken, in an automobile accident. He was a freshman, if I'm not mistaken, with the Kentucky Wildcats, and he did recently declare for the NBA draft. And Terrence Clark unfortunately did pass away. And we saw how the Boston Red Sox, they even put a billboard of him, and it was pretty. I was pretty shocked about it, because here you have a young man who made such an impact within his local community, that you have big businesses, putting you on billboards and making sure that your name is remembered, or that respect is paid, for what that individual did. So yes, rest in peace, Terrence Clark, who recently passed away. Now let's look into the East. We have Brooklyn and the 76ers holding on to the Brooklyn Nets are one game ahead of the 76ers. Like I previously mentioned, they did just beat the Phoenix Suns. Boston, Miami, and the Charlotte Hornets are rounding up the 6, 7, and 8 spot. Again, Darío had mentioned to us previously how this playoff is going to be different. So now I think the 9 and 10th team, so we have Indiana and Washington, could possibly punch in their way into the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, I don't really know the actual scenario, but that's what I have understood, that 9 and 10th teams are able to have like a one game you're in. One game you win, you're in into the 8th spot, into the 7th or 8th spot. We did have the Charlotte Hornets beat the Boston Celtics today, but the team that I want you guys to focus on is the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks currently are in 4th place. They're in 4th place in the West, And Julius Randle has been playing lights out as of late. He's been averaging 30 points, dominating, being very dominant. I think they just had an 8 or 9 game winning streak. And again, it's good for the NBA, and I think LeBron tweeted about it as well. It's good for the NBA to have big market teams be successful. For ages, the New York Knicks have been horrible. The fans have requested, have signed petitions for Dolan, their owner, to sell the team. The last time I could remember them having success, great success, was back when they went to the NBA Finals against the Spurs with Latrell Sprewell. Who was the other guy? Houston. I can't remember the others, but it was against the Spurs, and that's the time where the last time I remember they had great success. Again, Carmelo Anthony, they sold the farm just to get Carmelo. They had nobody, and I really don't think Carmelo is a dominant player. He obviously hasn't won at the big stage at the NBA. We do know and hear of his accomplishments at Syracuse, but the Knicks, they're having so much success. They're in 4th place. And again, this is good for the league. This is good for the league because you only have those big market teams who are able to attract the talent, because nobody wants to go play in Milwaukee. Now they do because of Giannis, but NBA players want to go to Hollywood. They want to go to LA, the Clippers, Lakers. They want to go to Miami, to the beach. They want to live that beach life in Miami. You don't see players flocking to Orlando. You don't have them rushing to sign deals with the Indiana Pacers, who they weren't able to keep the good squad that they have back in the day with Paul George, when they were giving the Miami Heat a run for their money. So it's good to have the New York Knicks being successful, because it could catapult them into serious contenders down the line. They got a great group of young players. Coach Thibodeau has really changed the philosophy of that program, of that team. We do have Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson, I believe, on the team, and we have several others of old school Chicago Bulls basketball players. But so far, the New York Knicks have been doing very good. They're fourth in the East. The Atlanta Hawks recently lost their best player. He got hurt. Trae Young. Trae Young sprained his ankle a couple days ago, and he's out for some time. So they're going to have a void there, and they need him because this is crunch time, like how I said. So for them being 5th, they are going to be playing a tough opponent. Maybe Milwaukee, maybe the New York Knicks, maybe Miami. The way the standings are as of right now. But again, I'm all about the New York Knicks. I like to see struggling teams in big markets have success, because it makes it a lot better for the whole league to be talked about. And again, big market deals, big TV deals, free agents are going to want to go there, play there. So the New York Knicks are a team to watch. I don't anticipate them contending for the East pennant. I was thinking baseball. Of them contending against the likes of the 76ers, against the likes of the Nets. But I do like what they're doing. Again, I do see this as a long approach, a long-term deal, where hopefully in the next 3 or 4 years they will be competing and contending for Eastern Conference championships moving forward. Again, we have UFC. UFC yesterday was awesome. I wasn't able to watch it. I was on my phone from time to time. My friends, of course, thank you so much for keeping me up to date with all the action. Here we have Rose Namajunas, who fought the Chinese champion Zhang Weili. And the reason why I wanted to highlight her was because she was a previous champion back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Back in 2019, she won the championship only to lose it shortly thereafter. And she's been a fighter who, in my opinion, is one of the best. We have her going up against the champion Zhang Weili, and as the underdog, big money was thrown at the champion and not on Namajunas. And again, this is a woman who has knocked out the very, very best in the UFC in her division. And one thing that caught my attention was that when she was being introduced, once she was being introduced by I was say Michael Buffer, but it's not. It's what's his name? It's Buffer's brother. I don't know his name, but It Is Time guy. I want all my athletes, even my fighters. I want them to have this mindset. Look at her when they're introducing her. You have her facing her opponent right where there's nowhere to run. They're going to close the doors, and it's you and that person. Look at this fighter's mindset. Look what she tells herself.
Championship of the world. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding personal record, 10 wins, 4 losses. She's stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 114.5 pounds. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, presenting the number 1 ranked strawweight contender in the world. Couldn't be any better. Couldn't be any better. Years, you the best. Ever. Who the best? I'm the best. Who the best? I'm the best. You've been the best.
Again, when they were announcing her name, she was saying, "I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best." Sometimes in life, people aren't going to believe in you. They're going to doubt you. They're going to say, "Oh, you're washed up. Why are you even doing this?" I received some criticism for running for BISD. It was my first time in politics. I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. I loved everything about it. People doubted me. They said, "Oh, you're not going to do nothing." Unfortunately, I came in third place, but I got 12,000 votes. To me, that's crazy. 12,000 people believed in me. And I want, whether you're in sports, whether you can apply this to your personal life, whether you can apply this to a relationship, or just to life in general, we should all have this mindset of this champion. I'm the best. I'm the best. And fighting's crazy. I've never been in that sport. I can only imagine. Michael Benitez, shout out to Michael Benitez, the piece. Who was at the sheriff's office. He was fighting in Matamoros at one time, and I think now he's a DPS officer, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out Michael Benitez. He was a pro fighter, getting paid for fighting in Matamoros. We should all have this mindset. I'm the best. I'm the best. She's coaching herself. She's encouraging herself, like, hey, take it, do it, and look at her response. Look at her response at the end in their interview.
You were so focused before the fight started. You were standing over there, and as Bruce Buffer was saying your name, you were saying to yourself, "I'm the best. I'm the best.
I am the best."
You certainly are. There's no doubt about that now. When she was standing there before the fight, when Bruce Buffer was introducing her, she was saying, "I'm the best.
Yeah.
I'm the best." And that's intense, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's heavy.
I mean, just like self-affirmation.
Yeah.
That I am the best in the world. And then to go out there in a minute and a half and prove it.
And again, we could all apply this to our lives. Life is hard. It's very, very hard. Many people fall into depression. Many people slack off because of all the turmoil in our lives, either professionally or at home with our families. We should have this mindset. whether in sports, in relationships, in our daily lives, even at work, I'm the best. I'm the best. We have this underdog who's telling herself that right before one of the biggest matches of her life. I'm the best. I'm the best. And she's fighting the champion who hasn't lost in 11, 12 bouts, if I'm not mistaken. And it just goes to show that having a strong mindset really helps. And again, this is something that we can all apply to our daily lives. And I want to show the clip of her of her dominating performance. Let me see. Here it is. Again, she's going up against the champion. This is after the fact. The bell just rung in the first round. A minute has gone by, and look how calculating she is in her victory. And this is the person that says, "I'm the best. I'm the best." Let's take a look at it.
She's very difficult to deal with.
Weili has landed several of those inside low kicks.
And again, you're going up against a champion. You're being doubted. What a great performance by Rose. I want to mispronounce it. Namajunas for being talked about now being one of the best female fighters in her division. So again, once I saw that after the fight, after seeing her performance, after seeing her in the ring saying, "I'm the best, I'm the best," I was like, damn, I'm going to start using this. So before every show, I'm going to tell myself, I'm the best. I'm the best. And then I'm going to give a great performance. Again, we need that mindset. We need that mentality of whatever we do. Again, sports, in our daily lives, professionally, I'm the best. I'm the best. And have that mindset. But again, we need that hard work. We need that time. We need that sacrifice to be able to go into a ring, to be able to go into the football field, the basketball court, into our employment, and to be able to excel. That's being prepared, and that clearly showed with Rose in her dominant performance yesterday. But again, a lot has happened in the UFC. Yesterday was amazing. There was so much action going on. We have Rose being declared the champion. We had a fighter, Weldman, who I don't know if I should show this or not. Yeah, I'm gonna show it. I'm sorry, guys. We have Hall and Weidman who were fighting, and Weidman previously fought Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva kicked him and broke his leg. I don't know how you want to say it. Broke his leg in half. Broke his bone. Well, now it happened to Weidman 6, 7, 8 years after the fact. So Weidman is fighting Anderson Silva back in 2013, 2014. I'm sorry, 2016. And Anderson kicks Weidman, who is in this picture right now, and Silva breaks his leg. And Weidman ends up winning by TKO. Well, 6 years later, Weidman is fighting this fighter Hall last night, and he has the same fate. He breaks his leg. Again, this is a gruesome injury. Viewer discretion is advised. I should fair warn you. But again, this is pretty intense. I'm just gonna show that. It was pretty intense. I asked a PA earlier today what and I want to go more into discussion with her about this, but I asked her how do our bones get brittle? How does this happen? And she was talking to me about it, but she had to go, and we kind of left the conversation there. So I'm going to reach out again and so I can get well acquainted with this. But this is a gruesome injury. Again, nonstop action the whole night. We had Rose with that dominant performance. Unfortunately, we had Weidman who broke his leg in a gruesome injury. His wife did post a picture post surgery stating that everything went well. Thank God. He is 35, 36 years old. Anderson Silva has come back from that injury, from that gruesome leg injury. I anticipate Weidman to come back. I wouldn't suggest it to him, but then again, these guys fight. They're fighters. That's all they know. They make millions off of it. So we'll see the plan of action that Weidman, that his team have for his long-term future. But it was a gruesome injury. Now the main event, we had Usman versus Masvidal in a rematch, and the first match Masvidal was a late add to the fight. Again, they were dealing with COVID. The fighter that Usman was going to fight at that time was hurt. He was hurt, and we had Masvidal step in. I think within 2 weeks. 2 weeks he had to travel to Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, if I'm not mistaken, in the Middle East. That takes about a day. And Usman beat Masvidal in fight number 1. Masvidal calls out Usman again and says, "Hey, proper training, proper preparation. I'm going to dominate you." Well, Masvidal focused on grappling, on wrestling. He said after the fight that, "Hey, I wasn't prepared. I focused on one thing, and this guy brought out another." And again, nonstop action the whole time of this UFC match, and it was intense. This knockout was intense. When I saw it, I was like, "Ooh!" It was pretty hardcore. But again, there is no question as to Usman and his power. And unfortunately, Masvidal felt it yesterday. Just caught him with a clean right hand to the jaw. Again, perfect performance. Just knocked him out. Just knocked Masvidal out. He tried getting up, and Usman just pummeled him. And Masvidal wasn't able to get up in time. And look at that hit. Clean shot on the chin, just wipes him out. Look at him. He's out. Again, dominant performance we have here from Usman, who now, after the fight, Conor McGregor did post on social media, if I'm not mistaken, that's the fight next. That him and that Usman would be a big ticket fight. And hey, I'm sure people will pay to see that. Again, UFC, it seems like if they're always putting up these marquee matchups, which is good for the UFC, for the fans. So again, we should anticipate that next fight to happen. Usman and McGregor. That's if McGregor is successful in his trilogy against Poirier coming up in June, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see how that goes. We will be following that fight. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Again, we will be coming on Sundays at 5 p.m. I think it's a great time. Gives me some time to catch up in the mornings, do stuff with my family, eat, hang out. So we will be starting every Sunday now at 5 p.m. We're changing our hours, and we will be doing a NFL draft show this Thursday. I will have Darío on with me to discuss the top 10 selections, and just depending on the crowd. If there are people on here commenting, we'll be on here. We'll be on here as long as you guys will let us. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good Sunday. Have a good week. Hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.